Hello, welcome to Moshang. This is Lydia. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Dr. Liu. Well, we're going to start a show that we're tentatively going to call the Moshang Meet Up. And we'll have a series of these that are posted periodically on subjects of the day, things that are relative to what's going on in the news. And the big news today is that Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter because he wants it to be more free. So that's a good idea, but what does that mean? And what should the rules be? And how free should it be? So that's what we'll discuss today. But the big idea is that we want to hear from you. We'll present our ideas in point counterpoint manner. And then we want to hear comments from the audience. And the best comments will be posted in an update on this channel on Friday. So get your comments in before Thursday, and Dr. Liu will put the best ones up anonymously. We'll put your initials and your state, but so you can brag to your friends, but nobody will know who you are. So does that sound right, Dr. Liu?
Great, thank you, Tom. And yeah, just as you mentioned, yesterday was a big day for the history of social media. As we know, Jeff Bezos bought Washington Post in 2013. According to them, democracy died in dark age. But now Elon Musk bought Twitter, freedom of speech will come to life. So Tom, what's your take on this?
What should be the rules for social media? So we start with, I try to define my life around postulates for various subjects. So these are the postulates for the rules on rulemaking, the very top level. So first, all rules will have both benefits and drawbacks. When considering a rule's drawbacks, what will be the worst effect for 10% of the population and for 1%? If you have a great rule, but it means that 1% of the population will starve, you have to consider that, and that's probably not a good rule. Next, how will the system be gamed? So in social media today, it's gamed in various ways, one of which is the use of bots to multiply the effect of your point of view. So that's something that needs to be considered. And then at the end of the day, for a good rule, the benefits should greatly outweigh the drawbacks. So what do these postulates mean if we want to have an inclusive, democratic, and trusted social media? Well, at the top line, free speech is fundamental to democracy. Cancellation leads to mistrust, and it promotes conspiracy theories. They think that they're tamping them down by canceling them, but in fact, they are building them up. All that said, there are some things that should be canceled. And looking at the 10% rule, 10% of the population will believe anything, no matter how crazy. And 1% of the population may be incited to criminality. So these are the things that we need to keep in mind while we're making rules. So Dr. Liu, what would you add to this?
Because social media is a very new phenomenon. It's still in the phase of its infant stage. We also see that social media is easily be controlled by small group of people and also people with special interests. We need first to identify the identity of social media, what kind of platform it is. It is a platform for freedom of speech, but some people think it just be owned by private companies. So those companies can do whatever they like to control the social media. What's your take on this?
Considering the things that I said previously, what should the specific rules for social media be? Well, my proposal would be this. The rules for cancellation should be posted publicly. In other words, there are some things that need to be canceled. Basically, those are actual criminal things, such as terrorism, child pornography, libel, some forms of hate speech, But whenever something is canceled or banned, a reason must be given that comports with the rules. There should be an independent appeals board so that if you feel that you have been unfairly banned, that you have redress. And a top level consideration should be that facts are not hate speech. Facts are facts. They should not be suppressed. Then there should be a broader category of things that should just have labels attached, such as suspected misinformation. And this might include things such as medical misinformation, unfounded claims of vote fraud, disinformation from foreign governments, things like that. The next rule or thought is you don't cancel or label something just because you or your employees don't like its political views or impacts. An example of this in the news just this last few weeks is Disney, who wanted very much to stay out of the politics of the Florida lawmaking around the child pornography and education bill, but the employees wrote so many tweets that the board reconsidered and has now weighed in to their detriment. There should be no shadow banning, which is to say the suppression of search results. The search results criteria should be publicly available, and search results should comport with those rules so that you don't have suppression by showing fewer examples of one particular video or tweet versus another. And last, we need to enshrine diversity of thought the same way that we have done with diversity of race. And if I could be allowed a small humorous part on the benefits of free speech, this is from Father William by Lewis Carroll. So he's having a conversation with a young man. The young man says, "You are old," said the youth, "and your jaws are too weak for anything tougher than suet. Yet you finished the goose with the bones and the beak. Pray, how did you manage to do it?" "In my youth," said his father, "I took to the law and argued each case with my wife. And the muscular strength which it gave to my jaw has lasted the rest of my life."
So those people who draw the laws and the rules of Twitter and social media could be the founding fathers and the founding group of people. What they will choose to do really can determine the future of a giant virtual world.
I think that there is cause for optimism because Elon Musk is an immigrant from South Africa, and quite often immigrants understand why they are here and why freedom of speech is important. In many cases, more so than the citizens who were born here and who have had it all their life. So I am optimistic.